Please be aware that the comments, views, opinions shared on this podcast are not meant to diagnose a medical problem and/or legal problem. If you do have a medical problem or legal problem, kindly contact a professional.
Welcome to An Apple a Day, a podcast, a resource, a community. Share your experiences and learn from others as we overcome barriers and learn to live a happy, healthy life with a disability. Welcome to the community. Here's your host, Jimmy Apple.
Welcome to An Apple a Day. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple. An Apple a Day is brought to you by www.famousapple.com. Famousapple.com, that's the home site for this podcast, and there you're going to find articles about the things we discuss on the podcast here. You're also going to find connections to our Facebook pages and our Twitter pages. You're also going to find that we have a chat room, free chat rooms, and we also have message boards. And there people get together and they discuss with each other and give suggestions and help. It's like we're all helping ourselves. And that's the whole idea of this podcast, is to form a community where we can help each other. If you get a chance, stop by, check it out. It's pretty cool. I have to say that. So how you feeling? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling stronger? That's excellent. If you are, that proves that you're following what the doctor tells you to do and you're following what the therapist tells you to do. Like I've always said, no one else is responsible for our health other than us. Doctors, they're assistants. That's all they are. Therapists, they're assistants. The doctor gives us a prescription. Now, he can write prescriptions till he's blue in the face, but if you don't take them or take them the way it's written, it's just a waste. Same thing with the therapist. If you don't do the exercises that they give you, it's a waste. You're going to feel worse instead of better, and then you're going to get worse. So the fact that you're feeling good, you're feeling strong, tells me that you are doing what you're supposed to do, and I say good for you. Excellent. Now, if you heard the last podcast, it was a 5-minute podcast, and it was titled Don't Look at Me, I'm Hideous. And that podcast was inspired by a letter I got from a young lady in Maine. Her name is Angela, and I'd like to read it to you right now. It says, Dear Jimmy Apple, I'm a big fan of your show. Well, thank you very much, Angela. I was in a car accident 8 years ago, and it left me paralyzed from the waist down. When I go out with my parents to a restaurant or shopping and stuff like that, I notice people are staring at me, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like they're staring at me and look like they feel sorry for me. Other times, they look at me like I'm disgusting them, like I shouldn't be there, or like being there is hurting their good time. I tried to talk with my parents about this, and they say that it's all in my mind. It's not, Jimmy. I know what I see, but now my parents are getting upset. My mother took me to my doctor and told the doctor that I think people are staring at me and she thinks I'm paranoid. She told him I feel like I don't want to go out anymore. He laughed. Has anyone else told you about this happens to them? It's to the point I don't want to go out, and now my parents are upset about that. What should I do? Angela. Well, Angela, the first thing I would do is find another doctor. A doctor that laughs at me because I have a problem. I don't have any faith in him, but that would be the first thing I'd do. Now, as far as going out, you're always going to have those people that they look at you like they've never seen people with a wheelchair or crutches or a walker or a cane. Maybe you have casts on your legs or braces on your legs or your arms. They look at you like, wow, I've never seen that before. Or they'll look at you like, why are you even here? I'm here to eat, and I don't like to look at this. And believe it or not, I agree with you. And you're not paranoid because it happens. And I'm sure it's happened to other people that are listening. What I do, though, I went through this in the very beginning myself. And what I do is I give them the same look back. I'll look at them with disgust. I'll look like I just sucked on a lemon. And I look them up and down. And then I just turn around and continue talking with whoever I'm there with. And believe me, that bothers them, because if you turn around and look at them, they're looking up and down at themselves now like, what did he see? But I treat them the same as they treat me. Now, as far as the people that feel bad for you, I've run across a few of them myself, and they think because you're in a wheelchair or you're on crutches or whatever, that it affected your hearing, because they talk very loud to you. You ever notice that? And they talk very slow, like we regressed in age. So they'll say like, hello, how are you? And you look at them going, I'm fine, how are you? And they just keep talking loud. And you know what? They're not doing it to be nasty to you. They're not doing it to make you feel bad. They have goodness in their heart. They're trying to talk to you. They're trying to show you that they think you're like everybody else. Okay, if you think everyone else talks like a robot, but they're being nice. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to make you feel bad. The other ones, the ones that look like they sucked on a lemon and they're instead of squinting at you and looking like you did something wrong, that's their problem. That's not your problem. And like I said, just look at them and give them the same look back. And the way to practice is suck on a lemon. Suck on a lemon, squint at them, look them up and down, then turn around and keep talking to your family and friends. I've said it before. I like to go to Walmart because they have the go-karts there, the electric go-karts. I'll be in Walmart shopping with my wife, and I'll get the looks in there, too. I just don't pay attention anymore. I'm at that point. This has been like this for so long for me. I'm at that point. I don't even pay attention anymore. But they can. They can make you feel miserable, these people. And that's because they're miserable. People have a habit of thinking that if you're disabled, you have a miserable life. Now, we all know that's not true. All right, so we had to make some changes in our life. A person with a disability has to adapt and overcome that disability and do what they can do. All right, we can't do a lot of what we used to do, right? I mean, you can't go out and go skateboarding. You can't go out and ride a bicycle, maybe. You can't go skydiving, but there's other things you can do. There's 1,000 other things you can do. But people don't realize that. They just think because you're in a wheelchair or you're on crutches or you have to walk with a walker or you have a neck brace on, they think you're miserable. They think your life is miserable. And some of them think, well, you'd be better off dead. Who are you to even think that? Well, we all go through that when we're first hurt, when we're first labeled as disabled. I know I did. I'm not going to lie about it. I was miserable. I thought my life was over at that point. I was sure it was. For almost a year, I didn't leave my house. I didn't want people to see me in a wheelchair. I didn't want people to see me with one leg. I just didn't want people to see me, period. Eventually, my wife finally convinced me, let's just go out. We went to this little restaurant called Perkins, and I went in there with a chip on my shoulder, actually, looking around to see who was staring at me. You want to know something? No one was. Now, I went to a bigger restaurant, where you have to dress a little bit nicer, and that's where I got the stares and the looks. And you know what? I was embarrassed the first couple of times. I felt bad the first couple of times, but you get over it. And don't let them stop you from going out and enjoying your life. So, Angela, go out, enjoy your life, do what you want. And sooner or later, you're going to notice people that you see on a regular basis, even the ones that give you that sucked on a lemon look, after they see you a couple of times, it's going to be different. But if it isn't, then it's their problem. It's their problem. It's not yours. Now, something else I'd like to talk about is the parking permits, the handicap parking permits. I know we've spoke about it before, but I've seen people really get upset at people that are using the handicap permits, especially someone that doesn't look like they need it. Now, I remember I told you a while ago that I had a heart attack and I had to go to a place called Heart Health. It was a rehab center. I'll tell you honestly, everyone that I was in there with had heart attacks. And coming out, you'd look at these people, unless you know them, you wouldn't think there's anything wrong with them. They had a heart attack. I know people that they had the zipper, the open heart surgery, but you can't tell that they have their shirt buttoned up. The only way to be able to see it is if they had no shirt on or they had their shirt open, but they have problems. If you have heart problems, you can have problems breathing, so that's why the doctor will give you the handicap permit, so you're not walking long distances. And now you get people that say, well, if that's the case, then why are they going shopping? Well, what are they supposed to do when they need something? Go to a drive-thru? That makes absolutely no sense. But, they get mad. They see these people step out of the car. And I've heard them. I've heard them in parking lots. What the hell's wrong with that guy? And then they'll the best is when they see me, they'll go, that guy could use the handicap spot, but that guy, there ain't nothing wrong with him. Look at him. He's walking. Well, like I said, you don't have to have some kind of disability where, that you have braces or crutches or anything like that. You can be affected by heart, stroke. You may have a bad back. If you ever seen someone that suffers from fibromyalgia, my God, they have pain 24 hours a day from their head to their toes. But you look at them and they look perfectly normal, but they're in pain. So you're going to tell me that they shouldn't get a handicap permit? It's bad enough they're in pain. It's bad enough that they have to go shopping. They have to get food in their house, whatever they got to do. So they have a handicap permit. So they park in the front so they don't have to walk from the back of the parking lot. Have some compassion. I don't know if it's ever happened to anyone here. I know people look at me when I pull into a parking space. I don't have the plate on my car with the little wheelchair guy. I have a tag that I put in my window. And they'll look at me until I'm getting out. They'll look at me like I'm committing some kind of crime. And then they see that I'm climbing out into a wheelchair or what have you. Or better yet, this is the best for me anyway. My wife and I go out. I have the one leg. So it makes it difficult for me to get out and pump the gas. So my wife does it. You see the looks that people give me. How dare you slob. You're sitting in the car while a woman's out there pumping gas and they give me this look of disdain like you wouldn't believe. And I just laugh now. I smile and I laugh. So they must think that I'm a real creep. But you know what? They don't live my life. They don't know what's wrong. So it's none of their business. But it happens. What are you going to do? You can't let other people bother you. It's disgusting sometimes. I seen a lady that had oxygen. She had one of those little hand trucks that they carry behind them with the oxygen tank in it. And there was people that were bad-mouthing her right in front of her. They weren't even whispering. Like, if you got to carry that around, what are you doing in the store? Well, what do you mean, what are they doing in the store? It was in a grocery store. What do you think she's doing in there? You think she's going for the casino in the back? She's there buying food. She still needs to eat even though she's on oxygen. My God, people can be stupid. I mean, and I'm sorry I shouldn't have said that, but they can. They could be really ignorant. I don't understand where the compassion is for others with some people. It is what it is, I guess. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. An Apple a Day is brought to you by www.famousapple.com. FamousApple.com is the home site for this podcast. There you're going to find articles about the topics we discuss. You're going to find our connections to our Facebook page, and you're even going to find connections to our private chat board. So take a minute, go over, visit www.famousapple.com, but please wait till the end of this podcast. Don't run out on me now. Let's get back to the discussion. And we're back. 30 seconds, it seemed like forever. I'd like to touch on one more thing on the conversation we were having before the break. I hope that you don't let yourself feel like less of a person because some ignorant people want to stare at you or try to make you feel uncomfortable. You're a strong person. You're a strong, formidable person. And don't take any kind of grief from anybody. If they don't like you being there, that's their problem. That's not your problem. If somebody wants to talk to you and they feel bad for you, well, that's very nice. They have goodness in their heart. But you're still the same person you were before the disability. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're less. All right. Now, on a lighter note, I got an email from Alex in Greenville, South Carolina. And Alex says to me, do you think you're an Italian mobster? Are you from the Sopranos? Why do you talk like you talk? Oh, Alex, why do you talk like you talk? I was born and raised in the Bronx. I realize I do have a New York accent. I didn't realize how strong of an accent I had. But Alex, why do you talk like you talk? Now, I spent some time down in Anderson, South Carolina, and y'all talk kind of funny too. You know, if you can understand me and I can understand you, what's the problem? And I just want to give you a little bit of information. The Sopranos, that was a TV show. They're not really a crime family. Oh, boy. Well, Alex, I'm glad you listen. I'm glad you're listening to the podcast, and I consider you a friend, my friend. All right. Well, we have a good podcast set up for next week. A very interesting one, actually. And no, I'm not going to tell you what it's about now, but I will tell you this. Look for the teaser. Look for the teaser podcast in the beginning of the week. Yeah, it'll probably be 3 or 5 minutes, but that's going to explain what we're doing next week. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. I know I enjoyed doing the research on it. At first, I didn't think it was that interesting, but it really is. It's pretty cool, actually. So make sure you check back in next week. Now, do me a favor. We're doing really good with the numbers here. We've got more listeners coming out of Japan. We have more listeners coming out of Australia. We have listeners in Germany, listeners in Ireland. We have one listener in Turkey. And in the United States, we're all over the United States. I think that we're in, the last count, I think we're in 48 states right now where we have listeners. And I think that's great. And I want to see us build it up more. We're building a community here. So, let your friends know. They don't have to be disabled to come here and listen to this. We want anyone that wants to come and listen, by all means, you're welcome. We'll welcome you with open arms. Now, if you have a question or a comment you want to make about the podcast, by all means, please put it in the comment box. If you'd rather send an email, send me an email. Either way, I'm going to answer them during the podcast here like we did today with Angela and Alex. So I look forward to hearing from you. Well, my friends, stay strong, stay healthy, and have a great week. I will talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to An Apple a Day with Jimmy Apple, your gateway to a happy, healthy life. Join our community at www.famousapple.com. See you next time.